Hi, in today's Affinity Publisher tutorial, we are going to be looking at the text wrap option. So this is how you can get your text to wrap around an image or an object on your screen. I've got 3 pages set up here in a document, and I invite you to turn on your computer and work along with me. So let's grab the Frame Text tool, and we'll draw out a frame, and let's switch the columns to 2. We'll go to page 2. So that was page 2. Okay, we'll go to page 1 and we will draw out text frame there. And we'll go down to page 3 and we will draw out a frame there. Let's go back to page 1 and just double clicking on it in the pages window and go to text. And why is this not working? Text, insert filler text. So make sure your text frame is selected, and then you'll be able to have the option to insert filler text. This puts some kind of gibberish Latin lorem ipsum text in there. So just so that this flows to the next one, we could just fill each of these with that, but we can also take this and just click this little triangle here. When you hover over this, it turns blue. We'll just click this text box. We'll click this triangle, hover over this one and click it, and that links them all together so the text keeps flowing. I have a separate video on this, so I'm not going to go any deeper into text flow in this particular tutorial. So now let's set up some images. So I'm going to go over to the Shape tool and let's grab an ellipse. And on page 1, let's just draw out a shape and let's fill it with just a solid color. And we'll put it in the middle. For page 2, I'm going to go to the Stock tab, and I searched in Pixabay for Butterfly Transparent, and we'll just pull him out onto the screen here, turn it this way and a little bit off to the side here. For the third one, we'll use a JPEG that has a square border. So let's pick this flower, we'll put that here, and we'll maybe scale it down a little bit and move it off to the side. All right, so now let's take a look at our text option. I'm going to switch to layers so we can kind of see that screen on the screen as well. I have my ellipse selected. We'll go up to the top here, and when you hover on this kind of lines with the little wedge-like square, it says Show Text Wrap Settings. That brings up our text wrap options. So with the ellipse selected, right now we've got no style. And so when we click Jump, it's going to stop when it hits the image and continue when it's past it. Move up to this column and continue on. With square, let's click away, and you can also kind of see it over in this navigator here. With square, it's going to create a square edge around here. Now you'll notice this is really nice and neat, and this is not so much. So there's 2 reasons for this. The first is because my text is left justified. If I switched it to right justified, you'll see now this is where the nice square is ending. So, and if you did it in the center, neither one would be square on the sides, only the top and bottom. So let's go back to left justified. The other reason is because this kind of Latin gibberish has a lot of long words in it, so it's having a hard time kind of cutting off the lines in a way that makes it look good. All right, so the next one is tight. So let's select our ellipse again and click tight, and that's going to try and wrap it around the image as close as possible. So we've got these options here that say distance from text, and we can use the little arrows up and down to change that to be further or closer to the image. Now you can see as I'm clicking these, all 4 boxes are changing, so they're all linked together and are changing proportionately. Now, if I click in this empty area over here, this is a little weird to me, doesn't seem very user-friendly, but if I click there, I can unlink these. You'll get the unlink pop up, and now I can just pick certain aspects to affect. And so this could be helpful if I want to just work on maybe this left edge and see if I can get it looking a little bit more circular by just controlling it individually. That got it a little closer. So let's go to inside. Now, what it looks like is we should be seeing the text inside the circle. We're not seeing that. And that's because this is on top of my text in the layers. So if we turn down the opacity, we can see that the text really is inside it. So we can solve this by just moving the image below the text box, and now we can see it. And then edge is going to kind of create a tight edge around it and put text in the middle. These last two I don't think have too many practical uses that I can think of. So just kind of be aware that it's possible, but I think most of the ones you're going to use are these three: the jump, the square, and the tight. All right, let's go down to our PNG here. We will select our butterfly, and you can see that we can do the same thing. And probably tight is what you want to use when you are trying to go around a PNG image. You can also wrap to either both sides or the largest size. Let's take a look at that with our third example, which is the square flower. So you'll see we jumped here. Square doesn't really seem to make a difference. Tight doesn't make a difference because we've got a square image and not any sort of shape that has contours. Let's also make this a single column of text. All right, and let's move this over. And so now when we go to square, it's making a square border. We can link all these boxes and we can, there we go, change the amount of distance between them. So we can also put this image, select it and move it into the middle. And right now it is wrapping around both sides of the image. If we go to largest size, it's going to pick where it's got the most space to put text and choose that. So if we move this all the way over, it's wrapping around this side because this is the largest space. If I go over here, it's going to start wrapping around this side. And you can see that somewhere that largest size switches and it will wrap around that side. So those are all the options you have for text wrap. I hope you found this video helpful, and I thank you so much for watching.